And welcome back to Sin and Finn, the Dugout Decision Show.
And it's been another week of a whole lot of nothing. But
Yep.
yesterday, some big news came out. A future member of the level of excellence, Buck Martinez, has decided to retire.
Yeah. First thing I think about, and I made a little video yesterday, is just thank you. Thank you to Buck. He was the voice of the Jays for as long as we can remember. It felt like time was running out for Buck, right? He came back after the cancer in 2022. I was honestly surprised that he made it all the way through 23, 4, 5 to the World Series run. Again, makes it so painful that we didn't get it, to think we could have done it for Buck, for Don Mattingly, for all the different people. But you know what? For Buck, he was a player for the team, played since from 1981 when he joined this team. Didn't even think he was going to come to Toronto. I remember hearing the comments that, well, I don't want to come up to Toronto. It's too cold and rainy, whatever. You know what? He put his name in Toronto in front of all the fans, and he made them fall in love with him. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. He was there, the 2015-16 teams, when he was calling the Jose Bautista, Josh Donaldson home runs. Then you go to 2021, Vladdy, Teo, Simeon, Bo, all the guys. He was here for so many generations of Blue Jays teams, and I'll never forget hearing his voice in the broadcast booth.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And Toronto Blue Jays fans have experienced so many great moments with him, and he's been right there calling all of them. And even when he was going through a hard time and receiving treatment early 2021, 2022, Canada's got his back, and then he came back even after that for a few more years, which was pretty surprising. But it's great to see Buck and Dan do another season, and talked about this a few times, but have the MLB postseason on Sportsnet, have Buck and
Yeah.
Dan and Joe and Madison Shipman and all those guys call games has been super cool, and we'll forever remember Buck. And there's been a ton of cool giveaways that they've had so far, and the Joe Carter statue as well is going to be a very cool thing. And you just got to wonder if Buck Martinez going on the level of excellence is going to happen next year.
It has to. I'm going to say it right now, and we all agree. I think everyone out there would agree. He has to go in the level of excellence. I'll go even further to say at some point in the future, they need to make a statue. I think to think he was here since 1981, I don't think we realize how long that is. Again,
Yeah.
as a player, a manager, and a broadcaster, I can't think of anyone else who's done that, let alone for the Jays, for any team to go through three different roles and be here with the same team for over 40 years. Some of the stats I have here from Buck as well, calling over 4,000 games in his career.
Wow. That's
Not too
crazy.
shabby. As a player as well, remember, he wasn't a stellar player, right? You can say that he was a backup catcher, but you know what? He was in the league for 17 years. That's saying something. Made his debut at 20 for the Royals. And then when he came over to the Jays, 1981 was the first year. He had a couple solid seasons again as a backup catcher. Looking at his 1982 season, 10 home runs, a 242 average, 724 OPS. The next year, 10 home runs, 253 average, 790 OPS. As a backup catcher, I'll never forget too the game where I don't remember exactly what year it was, but there's a ball hit out to the outfield. Throw comes home to the plate. Buck breaks his leg because the guy's
Oh
trucking him at
yeah.
the plate. Still gets the tag, manages to get up, make a throw to third. Throw goes into the outfield, comes right back to home. He's still able to grab it and tag the runner out.
Yeah, that's
That is a
pretty
special
insane.
play. I'll never
Yeah.
forget watching that play whenever that was from. So again, for everything he did as a player, as a manager, as a broadcaster, I think level of excellence that has to happen, whether it's this season or sometime in the near future, maybe a statue. And then how cool would it be if, say, opening day, Buck is throwing out the first pitch, or maybe it's Canada Day or some game this season where Buck is throwing out the first pitch. I think that needs to happen.
That would be pretty awesome. And there's a whole era of Blue Jays fans that just love Buck, love Buck so much. And I'm sure that Buck Martinez was a large part of the views, the views for the
Yeah.
Blue Jays in 2025, and even the postseason viewership on Sportsnet. People love to tune in just to hear Buck Martinez. Buck Martinez, great guy. Haven't heard a bad thing about him ever, and you could kind of see it coming. He's 77 years old.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's pretty insane how long he's been able to do this, and it's finally the time where he puts down the headset, puts down the mics. But Sportsnet is still in great hands. It's not like Buck's gone. It's worse than Kyle Tucker not signing. Like
Yeah.
Joe Siddle, Dan Shulman, that's a great duo right there. The Buck loss hurts, but I think he left at a good time. His legacy is will always be remembered as this great Toronto Blue Jays announcer who was with us. The ups and downs, like we talked about 2015, 2016, 2021, and even last year, but like 2018 and 2019 and
Yeah.
2023 was awful, and like there were a lot of bad years in between, and he stuck right in there, and
Yeah.
we'll remember him for that. So it'll be exciting next year to hear guys step up, and who knows, there's a Caleb Joseph that steps into a role
Yeah.
uh, in the broadcast booth as well. But yeah, that's definitely the biggest news for the Toronto Blue Jays this week. It's just that Buck Martinez is gone. The second in news is the WBC rosters came out, and that's kind of
Yeah.
fun to look at. I love the World Baseball Classic. I love the juices it brings. Even like the Four Nations last year with the NHL and just the national and political ties that it brings. Like you're
Yeah.
gonna fight for your country, and I mean the Olympics just started a few days ago. Like this is a
Yeah.
great time. Super Bowl's tomorrow.
Oh
This is a
yeah.
great time to be a sports fan. And yeah, let's take a look at some of these WBC rosters.
Absolutely. Just going through right here, all the Jays that will be representing. This could be AAA guys as well, also the major league guys, but everyone in the Jays organization representing here will just rip them off. Vladdy, obviously playing for the Dominican. Love to see that. Guys, he's never going to represent Canada, okay? He's affiliated with the
You
Dominican.
never
His
know.
dad
You
just
never know.
I mean, maybe, but we're supposed to have Freddie Freeman, right? Representing Canada, although that's not even happening this time. But anyways, Vladdy's going to be representing the Dominican. That's a stacked roster in its own right. Soto, Tatis, Rodriguez, everyone's there. Ernie's representing the States. Love it as a utility guy. Alejandro Kirk, the captain, going to be the captain of Mexico. Love to see that behind the plate.
Is he the
Yariel,
captain, really?
I've,
Wow.
I've, I've been seeing that. El
That's
Capitan.
cool. That's
That would
cool.
be really cool if that's the case.
Yeah.
Yariel Rodriguez going to be representing Cuba. Again, he was DFA'd early in the offseason, but no one picked him up on waivers, so he's still in the organization. Love that the new guy, the big oak, the young general, Okamoto, is going to be representing Japan. It took a while for them to announce that, but I remember he was a huge part of the 2023 Japan roster, so glad to see him there. Andres Jimenez recently announced for Venezuela as well. Love to see him back there. Now, this is some of the minor league guys here. Adam Macko going to be representing Canada. Love to see that for Canada. Leo Jimenez for Panama. RJ Schreck for Israel. Will Cresswell for Great Britain. Ismael Munguia for Nicaragua. And CJ Stubbs for Israel. So that wraps up all the Jays guys representing the WBC. And WBC is great, man. You're talking about what a great time it is for sports. But for us as a baseball podcast,
Oh
this
yeah.
is a great time for baseball right now.
Yeah, and the team I'm looking at is Team Japan because yeah, there's the big oak, Kazuma Okamoto. Hey, Yusei Kikuchi is on the roster this
Hey,
year.
yeah,
Last time the WBC happened, he wasn't at his peak, wasn't at his best form. It was when Pete Walker was really meddling with him, and then so he didn't participate in the last WBC. But he's here now, and that'll be a fun watch. So that Team Japan is pretty unreal. And then I'm a big Team Puerto Rico guy. Like I went to a few Puerto Rico games in the last WBC in Florida. Crazy, crazy stuff. You got Francisco Lindor, Kike
oh yeah,
Hernandez, Javier Baez, and that whole roster is in shambles right now without Lindor, Baez, or Correa. But
yeah,
even then, I heard Jose Barrios will participate, but not in round one, in round two. So
yeah,
it's pretty interesting there. But we'll see what Jose Barrios has, and just like the postseason, like this WBC brings out some juices. It brings out you'll see some amped up velo maybe, and you'll see some crazy performances. And talking about that, like Vladimir
oh,
Guerrero Jr. with the Dominican Republic, like that could be pretty insane. Him
oh
hitting
yeah,
in the middle of the order and in a tense environment in a like where you're fighting for your country. And
yeah,
in the last WBC, he had a hamstring injury in spring training, so that was
mm,
that was iffy if he was going to play. He didn't end up playing, but now he's for sure playing. So it'll be a lot of fun. And Andres Jimenez as well. No Anthony Santander coming off a pretty rough year last
yeah,
year, and
yeah.
but Andres Jimenez playing shortstop for Team Venezuela will also be a blast.
Where does Vladdy? I'm just thinking for the Dominican, like where is he hitting in that lineup? Like you said, middle of the lineup. Is he the cleanup hitter? Because you're gonna have probably Rodriguez close to the top. Probably he's gonna lead off. Soto you want hitting ahead of
Juan
Vlad, and
Soto, yeah.
yeah, he's probably a two. Like, dude, I'm just looking at this roster. Geraldo Perdomo was incredible last year. Fernando Tatis, J. Rod, Jeremy Pena, not too shabby at short. Ketel Marte, that's the best second baseman in the league. That's fair to say. Ketel Marte, switch hitting second baseman. Even the pitchers as well. Sandy, okay. I mean, former Cy Young winner. Wasn't great last year, but maybe he can find something. Christopher Sanchez was incredible last year. Had him on fantasy. That did big numbers last year. So the Dominican has a great roster. I like how
Yeah,
you mentioned
it's
for
the pitching for me. Like
yeah,
if they're gonna lose, it's gonna be the starters. There's no Freddie Peralta, there's no Framber Valdez, I believe. So that's the one thing I think that killed them last time as well. And the bullpen is better. Like Abner Uribe is in there, and
yeah,
Edwin Uceta
solid.
is okay. And I don't know. It's that their hitting is unreal. It's just if their pitching
Yeah.
can be above average.
How about since our last episode too, Fromber goes to the Tigers of all
Yeah.
teams. Like Orioles fans just had it like, yeah, we're gonna get Framber, or the Giants fans, or everyone else, even us. Like there were Jays reporters going out there. Oh, Jays are interested in Framber. I don't think that was ever
He
really
got a
happening.
lot of
Like
money. He got like
we weren't doing
38 a
that.
year for 3 years with an
Oh
opt-out after year two. Like, oh yeah.
no, we were not doing that, and that's probably their Skubal replacement. I know we talked about this off camera. Like Skubal's not going back there now, right? I think that's their insurance policy for Skubal leaving.
Well, yeah, something we haven't talked about is the Skubal arbitration, which was a few
Hmm.
days ago, where it was Tigers versus Tarek Skubal and Scott Boras, and I just saw that Tarek Skubal brought his two Cy Young awards in at the arbitration with them. So
Oh
I'm
wow.
sure that relationship is kind of fractured now, and they don't got the money. So we'll see what next year's free agency is like.
Hey, does someone pony up at the deadline? Like, I don't know that the haul you would get for Tarek Skubal. I know he's up there. We don't realize he's like 29, might be pushing 30 years old already, but back-to-back Cy Young seasons and the dominance we've seen. It's
Yeah.
I always go back and forth. Like, is it him or Skeens, the best pitcher in baseball right now? I think for me, it's Skubal. Back-to-back. Skeens will get there in the future. And if already at what is Skeens like 23 or something, and he's already got Cy Young Rookie of the Year. Skeens could be a guy that gets like five Cy Young awards in his career, but I think right now Skubal's the best for me in the league.
I tend to agree. I think Tarek Skubal is a fantastic pitcher. Like he goes so long into games. The
Oh
postseason
yeah,
they were just stretching him out as far as he could go and still like throw in 101. I think there was a game where he did a complete game. Last pitch was 103
yeah,
last year. Like just insane stuff. With Skeens, he's insane. Just I think some of the length isn't there, and maybe that's because he's on a
yeah.
Pirates team that isn't that competitive. But I see like him getting pulled after 5 or 6. So he's right up there with Skubal, but I'd have to go Skubal as well.
Something I just realized too, which was looking at the another fellow AL East team was the Yankees. They just signed Paul Goldschmidt yesterday. So I'm looking back and I see they're pretty much going to bring out the same roster and the same lineup that we faced. The last time we saw them was game 4 of the ALDS. They're pretty much bringing out the same team. And I hear all kinds of talk online that why are they doing that? And why isn't Cashman bringing anyone else and Steinbrenner? Think about it. They were a 94 win team. But I'll never forget one of the lasting memories of Buck Martinez. Well, the Yankees are not a good team. All they do is hit home runs. And you know what? He's kind of right. Like, that's a lot of what they do. They're not very, they brought in Jazz Chisholm and Bellinger or whatever, but they're not a very athletic team. Think of the guys that we have, the Varshos, the Clements, even Vladdy for a big guy. You see the way he's diving into home plate. He's an athletic guy. It's home runs. And can you imagine if they didn't have Aaron Judge in that lineup? So honestly, going into the season, if the Yankees just bring out the same roster, we beat them last year. I feel okay going up against the Yankees. If anything, for me, the Orioles look pretty good going into this season.
Yeah, with the Yankees, I saw a funny quote from Brian Cashman. It's that we're not running back the same team. We acquired a bunch of guys at the deadline, so we're
Yeah.
bringing back the guys from the end of the year. We're not running
Uh-huh.
back like all of last year, which I get. Like I think their record since the trade deadline last year was pretty great because they went on that crazy run against the worst teams you'll
Yeah.
ever see, the White Sox and uh, the, who else was it?
Well, it was
White
the
Sox.
Orioles towards the end because the Orioles were
Orioles.
really bad last year.
Yeah, it's a joke. And then
Yeah.
Orioles this coming year, like their lineup is disgusting. It's gross,
Oh,
but
yeah.
but
the
with
pitching.
Framber Valdez gone, can they pitch? I have no idea
Hey,
if they can
Kyle
pitch.
Bradish. There's
Kyle
Kyle Bradish
Bradish
there.
gets hurt a crazy amount. When was the last time Kyle Bradish went out and gave me like 20 starts? Like
Like,
it's pretty
wow.
crazy. And then Shane Baz is like he's got good stuff, but just hasn't had the production or the like same kind of thing with Dylan Cease. Like just the
Yeah.
raw numbers are great, but like the peripherals are great. You just need the ERA and everything else to
Yeah.
take form. And then you got Dean Kramer and you got Zach Eflin at the bottom. Like that doesn't
No.
scare me at all. And then their bullpen that they traded Cade Stroud yesterday, an arm who they really liked and was going to be a part of their bullpen next year for another infielder. And yeah, their bullpen is not looking good. Like Yenier Cano,
No.
the guy who
Oh.
used to be
Oh.
shut down, is did not have a good year at all last year.
Oh.
And yeah, it's pretty rough in the bullpen and starting pitching wise, but it just seems to be the Orioles. Like their lineup's
Like,
always going to be gross, and they just can never pitch, I guess. Mike Elias likes that stuff.
when was the last time Felix was healthy? I like was 2023, maybe 24. I don't even know the last time. I know he had TJ because he's a beast. What is he like 6'8", 102 mile an hour fastball, but
Yeah.
guy never stays healthy, like you said, Cano. So I'm thinking the Orioles, like Rutschman wasn't that great behind the plate last year, right? Like he's regressing a lot. I don't know if their new guy Basayo is just a great catcher and he'll be sort of the replacement, but Adley's fallen off a cliff. Gunnar wasn't great last year. He came into the season with an injury and he wasn't good. They'll need some bounce backs, but I'm thinking of the rest of the AL East. Like the Rays, I think this is finally the year that the Rays don't Ray. I think that's fair to say. Like, who do they? Junior Caminero, like, he'll be a fun player. Does Yandy Diaz
Well,
stick
we
out
say
the
this
whole
every
season?
year, so I don't know.
Exactly.
We
And wait a minute, they're back at the Trop, right? So they're not going to be playing at that
that
minor
is
league
true.
field. We are horrible at the Trop. So
Yeah.
pencil it in. If we play like 6 games at the Trop, we're losing at least four. That's just how it goes every year. But I feel good for the AL East coming into this season. Really, the biggest threat is going to be the Yankees. Like the Red Sox again, fringe playoff team last year, made the wild card. I thought they were going to beat the Yankees in the wild card series on honestly last year, but that didn't happen. They didn't really get the big name. Oh, the Red Sox are going to get Bo Bichette. They'll bring back Alex Bregman.
Yeah.
No Vlad, no Soto, no Bregman, no Devers, no Bogarts, no
IKF
nothing.
though,
Oh, IKF. That's a splash. I
we'll
mean, like,
take that.
are they gonna trade Duran or Abreu? There's been so much talk of that all off season. I'm not sold. Like Crochet out of the rotation, that scares me. That really does. Although we did get to Crochet, like we got to a lot of good pitchers last year. We really did. Now I'm thinking of pitchers. Garrett Cole. Like, is he going to be any good for the Yankees? I really hope not. I really don't want him to be. But I'm thinking we're good in the AL East, and then think of the rest of the American League. Thinking of can we do this again in 2026? Who scares you in the AL Central? Who? Like, I'm sorry, it's not the White
It's
Sox, it's not the
it's
Twins. It's
really the Mariners terrify me. Just
that's it.
talking AL wise, like
That's it.
I'm terrified of the Mariners. Brendan Donovan is a great acquisition, and
Yeah.
they got much better than last year. Eugenio Suarez couldn't hit at all after he hit like 40 with the
Yeah, I know.
Diamondbacks. He hit that one big home run against Dominguez in the playoffs, but
Yeah.
that was a center cut fastball. Like I yeah, they seem to have gotten a lot better and pitching, they're always great, and bullpen and starting pitching wise. So the Mariners terrify me. Besides that, the Astros aren't the Astros, and yeah. But
No.
besides that, it's like the Yankees would probably be there, and the Red Sox really could have, as you said. Like if they went out, got Bregman back, and
Yeah.
or have got Pete Alonso because they've had a hole at first base for
Yeah, that
forever
too.
because since David Ortiz left, like my goodness, Tristan Casas, like year
Oh,
in and year
jeez.
out, just like does nothing. So
Yeah.
that they had a big opportunity and they laid an egg. And Roman Anthony's going to be fantastic, and they have a lot
Yeah.
of good young pieces there, Marcelo Meyer. But yeah, they had to go get something. So don't really know what they did there. They pulled the Baltimore Orioles from last year and just
Yeah.
like didn't capitalize on what they could have done. And yeah, so the Yankees, the Mariners scare me. They
Yeah.
do. Even the Yankees, like they're a really good team, and you just need a few more good pieces to work. Like Elmer Rodriguez, a really good pitcher for the Yankees. If he comes up and is just really good at the bullpen because they have way too many starters, like that's
Yeah.
great. If Spencer Jones can't strike out anymore, like that'd be crazy as well. So I don't know if the Yankees just get a few more guys to step up from
Yeah.
last year, like, they'll be really good as well.
And I like how we're going into like year 6 of Jason Dominguez being a prospect. Like he'd be like 30 years old and he'll still be a prospect because Trent Grisham came back. So where's Dominguez ever going to play? I don't know. But you mentioned Alonso. That one kind of scares me. Like, dude, we're going to just see 50 home runs from Pete Alonso and the Orioles, aren't we? Or like 40 home runs or something. We haven't really seen, aside from Aaron Judge. Yes, Aaron Judge kills us every year, 60 home runs, whatever. But aside from that, there really hasn't been another big slugger that scared us in the division. Pete Alonso going to the Orioles. I thought he was going to go to the Red Sox. Either way, it was going to scare me, but I don't like seeing that. You're right with the AL East, though. I can't believe we're in this spot that we're only scared of like a couple of teams, and even the Mariners. Because I think honestly, you're right. I think it might be the Mariners that scares more than the Yankees. Even there's some flaws again with the Yankees that famously Buck called out. The Mariners, even I don't know, like Bryce Miller again playoffs. I don't know what happened. His fastball was up to like 98, 99. He was incredible, but regular season, Bryce Miller, not that great. George Kirby, not as great, not like a top 10 Cy Young finisher. Luis Castillo's fastball velo is going down every single year. There's still some flaws there. They lost Jorge Polanco too in that lineup. They brought Naylor back, which is huge, but they lost Polanco, who was a big piece to that lineup. Like there's still some flaws. Again, look at the bottom of the lineup, like Dominic Canzone, Victor Robles, JP Crawford. I like our bottom of the lineup more than theirs, right? Do you agree with me there?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think we're a better rounded out lineup than
Yeah.
them for sure.
So speaking of the rosters and where we're at now, listen, we're a couple days away. What are we? I think 4 days away, 5 days away from pitchers and catchers reporting. We say pitchers and catchers reporting, but guys are already at the facility. We
Yeah.
said this off camera too. Like guys have already been there for a while. They're training, they're getting ready, which I like to see. They're getting ready early in the season. One thing I want to touch on though, and we're going to make a little bit of a prediction here before we go into the season. Who do you think is making the roster in the outfield? Because we talked about this off camera. There's a lot of guys, whether it's depth at AAA or guys on the current 40-man roster, there's a lot of names that could possibly make it to that outfield come opening day. And one name I'll throw out there from last year was Alan Roden, who completely surprised everyone. He was a prospect. He was a good name in the Jays organization, but he was a non-roster invitee to spring training. Dalton Varsho's not ready because of his shoulder. And you know what? Alan Roden's making the opening day roster. That didn't go well. And hey, we got Louis Varland for that guy, but he was a surprise, right? So who do you have making the opening day roster in the outfield? Is there a surprise in there like an Alan Roden from last year?
Yeah, it's like the main question right now. Like we have
Yeah.
way too many outfielders. What's going to happen? So let's take a deeper look at this. Let's go to AAA here. I'm looking at Fangraphs' roster resource, and there are 7 AAA outfielders, and that
Mm,
includes non-roster invitees and guys who are just coming to spring training. So that includes I'll just list all of them here: Joey Loperfido, Jonathan Clase, Yohendrick Pinango, RJ Schreck, Eloy Jimenez, Ismael Munguia, and Jace Borofen. So I think that Eloy Jimenez, Ismael Munguia don't make it out of spring
nope,
training. I don't think that happens. I think they're just there for
nope.
to fill a spot. And then Jace Borofen didn't play a game in AAA last year. I think he stays in AA. So then that leaves us with Yohendrick Pinango, RJ Schreck, Jonathan Clase, and Joey Loperfido. I don't think the org is that high on Yohendrick Pinango. I think that the fans are a lot higher on Pinango. I keep
Yeah.
seeing the Wilyer Abreu comp. Wilyer Abreu is a
Mm,
great fielder. He's a Gold
yeah.
Glove right fielder. Like there's a big difference there. He's got a lot of pop as well. So Yohendrick Pinango has got a bat, can't really field that well. We have too many of those guys. We have Anthony Santander. George Springer isn't going to play the field, and Yohendrick Pinango was left to be exposed to the Rule 5 draft. So any team could have taken Pinango
Mm,
from us. And if we really wanted Pinango, why would we expose him to other teams? I don't think we're high on Pinango. Jonathan Clase hasn't showed me a lot. So
nope.
I think that we trade Yohendrick Pinango for what? I don't know.
I
I
don't know.
just don't think he is on the roster to begin the year, and that's the whole organization. That's not just the MLB roster. Um, Jonathan Clase, I don't think there's room for him. He takes up a 40-man spot, can't field well. He's got some like power attributes, like the Ryan Helsley home run was
Yeah.
amazing. I think we cut ties with Jonathan Clase as well. So that leaves us with Joey Loperfido, RJ Schreck, and I think I cut too many guys here. If we
That's
don't want to trade Yohander Pinanga, we can keep him on the roster. He's still got some options. So I think we at least cut ties with Jonathan Clase.
yeah.
That'll be my move. And then going to the major leagues here, we have we have three bench outfielders. It's Davis Schneider, Nathan Lucas, and Miles Straw. I think Miles Straw is an easy keep. He was a big clubhouse guy last year. Right-handed bat, good fielder. I think he's on the roster. Nathan Lucas, I think, is traded. So as of right now, I have Nathan Lucas being traded. I have Jonathan
Okay.
Clase being DFA'd, and I have Davis Schneider making the roster. So it's either they acquire a bat or Joey Loperfido makes the roster. Is there some bias there? Maybe. I'm a big Joey Loperfido guy.
Yeah.
He hit like 350 last year and
Oh
can
yeah.
field a decent
Yeah.
bit. So the bench I have going into the season is Tyler Heineman, Davis Schneider, Joey Loperfido, and Miles Straw.
Okay. I'm going to give you what they had for 2025, just for some perspective here. They gave out six outfielders. They weren't considering a DH, but we know that George Springer is going to be the DH, right? We don't want that guy playing the outfield. Look how great he was last year as a DH. But considering him last year as an outfielder, that's what they did here. This is actually an article from Keegan Matheson, shout out, that they had Miles Straw, Nathan Lucas, Anthony Santander, George Springer, Alan Roden, and Davis Schneider going into the season. We didn't even have Addison Barger there. So now going into 2026, I have a similar list to yours, but not quite the same. I'm the same on Loperfido. I'm high on him. I want him to make it. I obviously you're going to see Dalton Varsho make it. Springer's your DH. Anthony
Yeah.
Santander is going to make it, and Addison Barger I think is going to shift now to a right field spot. Okamoto is most likely going to take the third base spot. They could do a platoon there, right? Like Okamoto is great against the lefties, still good in the MPB against righties, but not the same as lefties. So do they do a platoon there? Maybe. I don't know. The Jays are famous for doing their platoon, so they might do something like that. But I think you can roll out Ernie at second and Okamoto at third, and that works. Assuming that Barger is a right fielder, Varsho, Santander, and Barger. I think that's my outfield. The starting day trio in the outfield with Springer at DH. And the other two guys I'm filling out to make it six, it's RJ Schreck and Joey Loperfido. So I'm leaving out Miles Straw from that list. I agree with you that Nathan Lucas, I think, is going to be traded. There's just nothing flashy for me there. I think he's like 32. He's got one option left. Solid. I don't want to discredit anything he did last year in the 2025 playoff run. He was hitting second almost every single playoff game. Incredible. But again, there's nothing flashy there. It's going to be like a 700 OPS, 240, 250 batting average with like 5 to 10 home runs a year, maybe something like that. So I think he's trade bait. I agree as well. Jonathan Clase, I think he's gone. I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm leaving Davis Schneider off the roster to start the season.
Holy
And the other one,
smokes.
I know, and Miles Straw I'm leaving off too. I hate to do with Miles Straw because the first thing I'm thinking of is who's the defensive replacement. That is Miles Straw, aside from the clubhouse thing, because Miles Straw is great for the clubhouse. The defensive thing, if Dalton Varsho needs to come out of a game or needs to sit out a game or take a break for a game, whatever, Miles Straw is the perfect guy to put in there at center. Listen, I'm high on RJ Schreck. I see RJ Schreck pulling an Alan Roden from 2025. I think he comes in there. Alan Roden put up like a 1,200, 1,300 OPS last spring. RJ Schreck comes in and does that. And I agree. I'm way higher on him than Penango between the two. Those are the two, right? The two big AAA outfielders. I'm way higher on Schreck. I think he makes it. And I think Joey finally breaks out, your guy. And I think he has a great spring and he makes it. So I can't believe I'm doing it, but I'm leaving Davis Schneider and Miles Straw off the roster coming opening day.
So that means you are optioning Davis Schneider to AAA and you're
Yeah.
DFAing Miles Straw.
Hey, what's got to done?
Wow.
What's got to be
This
done? It's
guy,
got to be
man.
done. Like that's just where we're at. You know what? We got to come into the season and we got to put out a solid roster. There's also injuries that can happen. David Schneider can come up later, right? There can be some poor performance. Listen, I don't want to say we're trading RJ Schreck, but if he does the same thing and he comes in here and he's garbage by the trade deadline and you're getting me another Louis Varland like you got for Roden, and then you get to bring up Schneider, hey, I'm all for that.
Well,
That
the thing
works.
with the Roden trade was Roden was just a throw-in. like we had no
Yeah,
spot for Roden, so it was
yeah,
Kendry Rojas who was the big piece there.
yeah,
So Roden wasn't like a marquee trade piece there. It was just a throw it because we had nowhere else to
yeah,
put him. But
yeah.
interesting,
Fair enough.
interesting. I kind of like it. Kind of like it.
If I'm being completely realistic here, that is not going to happen. We're not going to see RJ Shrek. I think what's going to happen is come 2027, we're going to see these kind of guys. Because again, we talked about this all offseason. Dalton Varsho, George Springer, gone after 2026. I'd love for them to do a Dalton Varsho extension, but you've said this before. He's a Scott Boras client, right? That's not happening during the season. I just don't see that happening. And listen, if he has a good year, he's going to test the market and just watch how the Dodgers are going to give him $50 million a year or something. I don't want to say already that Dalton Varsho's gone, but if he has a good year, I hope we pony up and give him the money. But I don't know if we're going to do it. So going into 2027, that's where I think you can see guys like Joey and RJ come through. Santander would shift to a DH role, which I think we'd like for that to happen. That still kind of scares me coming into the season. Like Anthony Santander on turf in left field. I don't like that, but at some point you need to get something out of the guy, right? He's your $90 million guy. So I know it's a little crazy saying that David Schneider, Miles Straw won't make it. Realistically, I know deep down those guys will make it unless RJ Shrek has a 1500 OPS in spring training. But hey, we're having a little fun here. We're still in the depths of the offseason, right? We still don't have spring training yet. So a little bit of fun throwing in Shrek and Loperfido on the opening day roster. And we'll see. Give it another month and let's see what happens.
Yeah, I do like the RJ Shrek move there. I think that maybe you could swap RJ Shrek for Joey Loperfido in my case. I think
Yeah.
if RJ Shrek comes out in spring training, just hits the cover off the baseball and is lights out for Team Israel, like
Yeah.
that'd be pretty awesome. So
Yeah.
I could see that happening. Just yeah, I think you've got to keep Miles Straw, and you ended up saying that like your realistic opinion there.
Yeah.
I just think even though Miles Straw is a nothing off the bench, like a bench bat, you got to keep him like
Yeah.
the clubhouse vibes, and you need a guy to play center field. Dalton Varsho wasn't the peak like consistent 162 game guy. Like he plays on turf every day and like gets hurt a decent amount. So you got to have a guy play center, and I think that's where we go. Nathan Lucas had a tremendous 2025, and some guys came
Yeah.
at the comments. Um, some guys were in the comments coming at me for the George Springer reel saying, "What do you mean George Springer can totally repeat this? Like, what are you saying, man?"
Yeah.
Um, like whatever. I really don't think so. I think the same thing goes here with Nathan Lucas. If Nathan Lucas gives us 1.5 WAR or something close to it next year, like that would be pretty insane from a 32-year-old career minor leaguer. I
Yeah.
don't see it happening. And yeah, the reason I'm cutting ties with him is I just want to sell him when he's like high value. Like his value
Yeah.
is decently high right now. Like
Yeah.
he was a two-hole hitter for the majority of the playoffs, and we lost in Game 7 of the World Series. Like he also had like 10 hits in the World Series. Like he
Yeah.
performed as well. It wasn't like he was a nothing bat. So
Yeah.
is also a great fielder, great arm as well. So if there's a team out there who needs a fourth outfielder, I think he's a great option. And Pinyango, like I think he just I don't know, he might be trade bait at the trade deadline. I don't think
Yeah.
we cut ties with him completely before the season. I just don't see him. I don't see a spot for him on the roster, especially with the existence of Anthony Santander. I don't
Yeah.
think those two can coexist with the Toronto Blue Jays. I think Yohendrick Piniago could be a decent player elsewhere with the Cardinals or something, but
Yeah.
don't think he fits on this 2026 Blue Jays roster. I think RJ Shrek, I think Joey Loperfido do.
Yeah.
So that's who we got. Jonathan Clase, bye bye, brother. You gave us a glorious moment last
Yeah.
year. Something nobody expected. Right up there with Andres Jimenez getting that 3-run home run off Max Fried. So yeah, we appreciate you, Jonathan Clase,
Yeah.
but no.
I think
And also
that's
I
done.
think an underrated part of this is where the heck did RJ Shrek come from, Aiden? You know?
It came from the Justin Turner trade, didn't he? From
Came from
Seattle.
the Justin Turner trade. He was the
Yeah.
one piece in the Justin Turner trade.
How about
So,
that?
like, that's good asset management right there. You
Wow.
suck. You sign this guy to a 1 year deal. Let's trade him to this Mariners team who's fringe playoffs. Let's get
There you
this guy
go.
named RJ Shrek. I'm a big Shrek guy. Shrek 2 is
Yeah.
my favorite movie ever. So I was like, RJ Shrek, cool. Like, what are we doing? The guy rakes, I guess. The guy went to Vanderbilt. So
Yeah.
great asset management from
Heck yeah.
Ross and Mark.
Yeah.
So
They're gonna have a
love
lot of fun
that.
with that. When he
But
eventually gets the call, they're gonna have a lot of fun with that, eh? Bringing
oh
Shrek
yeah.
up.
Oh yeah.
Players
So that's
weekend.
very interesting. And even like I'm looking here at the double A outfielders. There's what? There's six of them? And Victor Arias is a player
Yeah.
I'd keep in mind. He's a very heard he's a solid fielder. He's got some pop. Played super well in High A Vancouver last year, so
Yeah.
he could make an appearance at the end of the season. But I think we go with Shrek,
Yeah.
and that's just
I
fun to
like
say.
it.
I like saying RJ Shrek.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Joey Lopez throughout the season.
I like it. And for the people writing off Anthony Santander, and there's a lot of you out there, okay? I know there's a lot of it going around on Twitter, on social media everywhere that, oh, Anthony Santander was so bad last year. Why do we do that? Trade him, cut him, whatever, eat the money. Listen, he's not going to hit 44 home runs again. That was an outlier. But if we
You
get
watch, you
20,
watch. This is going to be an
hey,
edit.
I'll be happy to be wrong. I'm going to say it right now. He's not hitting 44 home runs. Come back to this in October and let's see if that was the case, or September. Let's see. I don't know. I'll be happy. I'll be happy to be wrong. I'll say that also right now. But I'll take 20, 30, whatever it is, home runs out of him. And again, if in the future, if Springer's gone and we can shift him to DH, I think that's great. And that opens the door for the young guys. So just look out for Santander. I'm not going to go crazy with the 45 home runs, but if we get 20 or 30, I think that's great. And that's also realistic. The last thing I want to touch on here, though, is the bullpen. That's the other big thing, the other big talking point, because we know the starting rotation has been drastically improved with Cease and Ponce, but and Bieber obviously coming back. The bullpen, though, just looking at the opening day roster last year, Dick Lovelady, Jacob Barnes, Yariel Rodriguez started in the opening day roster. I don't think that's going to happen again. Nick Sandlin, Chad Green, and we had Yimmy obviously there who will come back, Jimmy. But just looking at the improvements they made, Nick Sandlin was okay, but Tyler Rogers, that's an upgrade. The other guys that we've brought in as well that are just simple improvements internally, like a Mason Fluharty. That guy's going to be there. He wasn't there in the opening day roster. Eric Lauer wasn't there in the opening day roster. We got Louis Varland there now, right? I think the bullpen is going to be drastically improved coming into 2026 as well.
Yeah, I'd love to see what Mason Fluharty changes because he kind of got figured out at the end of the year. We would bring him in against Mookie Betts and Shohei Ohtani and Freddie Freeman,
Yeah,
and just didn't find much success there in the postseason or in the World Series. So I think
yeah,
if Mason Fluharty does something, adds a third pitch, or maybe pitches differently to opposing hitters, I think that could be interesting. And yeah, I like the outlook of this bullpen for sure. And I like it's so much better than last year. That was a big worry, and everyone was clamoring for Ryan
yeah,
Yarbrough to come back
yeah,
when we put I think his name's actually Dickie Lovelady now. I think
yeah.
he changed his name. So
Wow, there you
uh,
go.
yeah, so Dickie Lovelady on the roster. So no, this bullpen is miles times better, and it says Tommy Nance is going to be in this bullpen. I don't think so. I think Braden
Yeah,
Fisher is
no,
more likely to, and some questions with the rotation, just Cody Ponce, Jose Barrios, what's going to happen there. But
yeah.
yeah, we'll see what happens.
Listen, guys, we made a lot of improvements. Okay. I know we were saying, well, we made those moves so early and we haven't got anyone in a while. We addressed the needs. Okay. We got all the guys we needed. We improved the weaknesses from the team last year. And I think we're set going into 2026. We may see a trade, but if we don't, I think we're set. Look, couple of days, pitchers and catchers report, and stay tuned for our next episode, which is going to be a very special guest. We can't wait to air that. So thank you for tuning in. And as always, go Jays.
Go Jays.